What's up, Shadows? I wanted to talk to you guys about your Scrim series against LG Vesper, going over the notes that I've taken over your game 1. I want to start off with the rune choices that our top laner made. Ornn, whenever you're in a matchup where you're confident, Demolish is absolutely fine because you should be able to proc it. But otherwise, if you're just in the middle of laning, that rune doesn't do a whole lot for you. So if you just want to look for Font of Life, get some sustain, and kind of make sure that you don't really lose the lane, blessed. And then in Champ Select, we had talked with the mid laner about taking inspiration. I still believe in that, so it confuses me as to why my Siverd has sorcery secondary. So in my humble opinion, I do believe you should be running inspiration second with cashback and triple tonic, so you get all the benefits of being really strong, being able to push an extra wave, you get 60 gold, you get the 20 adaptive, and you get the free skill point. There's a lot of benefits that will actually be more impactful in the lane phase rather than scaling into the mid to late game with like Gathering Storm, for example. Bloodline over Alacrity because Bloodline's still really strong, more so than Alacrity. You have lethal tempo, so you'll get your attack speed regardless, and you build into Navoria as well. And Bloodline will be a placeholder until you basically get your Bloodthirster later on in your build, 5th or 6th item. Wukong, you do a great job of being able to alert your team that you're starting blue side, pathing down to bot side, so that allows your team to know from both mid and bot to help you play for that bot crab. But also tell your team generally when your clear time should be. So the fastest Wukong clear right now is 240. I would prefer it if you practice in your practice tool, get around to 245 reliably. So that way your team can practice on you having a good window to do something else aside from just hitting your camps. This game you finished at 255, and I think you even dropped some mini Krugs, so it's not the greatest clear in the world. It shows some lack of champion mastery there. You guys, as 3, do a really great job pushing forward, getting this vision into their jungle, and so now you can kind of see generally what the Pantheon's going to do, if he is going to start his red into Krugs, into Raptors, or is he just starting blue, and by the time your Wukong crosses over from his blue side to red side, then you'll know that Pantheon started his blue buff. But yeah. And then we can go over the actual notes of the game. So we'll start off with the bot lane here. The bot lane, level 1 is very tricky. For the most part, we just don't want to get hooked and we don't want to get autoed by the Nautilus immediately after. Avoid the Gatling gun here during its duration. Whenever Nautilus steps forward here, get some return damage, which is absolutely fantastic. And then now we need Sivir to go ahead and use her Q on the wave instead of holding it, so we can start trying to get this level lead. We're also getting great return damage onto this Corki. The lane really is not bad. Continue trimming the wave. They have no real range on us yet. Make sure you use the minions as a wall. Doing really well here. Eventually, we get to the point where Corki E is a little too powerful. They get the support prog, and then now Maokai does not pay too much attention, doesn't respect their level lead that's coming, and then we blow flash, they blow flash, and we also blow ignite on a kill that we can't really take because Corki still has barrier. There's a few things that happen here. Whenever you see a ADC like this flash really early in the game, that should alert everybody on our team that First Dragon is going to be very good for us because our carry still has flash and their carry does not. It would be a lot better if their carry also burned barrier. But since, you know, flash won't come back for generally another 5 minutes, you know, if we look over to the right corner of our screen here, Dragon spawns at 309. So I do believe that we just need to play for that real quick, and it'll be fine. And then it's just much easier to make a pick on the ADC. The next thing I really wanted to talk about was we get vision of the Pantheon here, clearing his Raptors, and then we see that our jungler is a little bit faster than him, so he should be up tempo. He has a faster clear. He can make it to the crab first, as long as he doesn't mess anything up. And that should allow us to make sure that we don't truly end the game by giving up this crab for our jungler to allow him to be able to have some type of advantage. Now if we just want to go to 235 real quickly. Okay, so we have some split decisions here. Our jungler is just now finishing his red buff. He's going towards his Krugs, and then our ADC is attempting to recall with like 500 gold. And then um, by the time you finish your recall and start walking back, he'll be done with this, and then you'll be really late for this. So in my opinion, I do believe that the ADC should just stay. You've got the wave pushing in, and so Corki can't really leave. Nautilus can actually move, and he can sit in this bush. Maokai is going to ward in this pixel brush here, but I do believe he actually needs to ward up here, so that way we can see the entrance and be able to see what happens if Nautilus is going to come up and try to contest our jungler taking crab or whatever. Orianna actually pushes her wave in, and then she roams down, and then she puts a ward right here, creating a vision line for our jungler. That way we can see every direction from which this Pantheon could come from, if he's giving up a camp early or what have you. So that way we get as much information as humanly possible. So I don't like this Pixel Brush ward. It's very lazy league play by the Maokai here. And then it also bleeds into him just getting caught out right before, and it just really doesn't make a lot of sense for how we're playing the game. If you look, we drop the wards, and then he gets caught, and then now we do some hero play from the jungle, who he just walks in, gets caught, and then so now we give 2 kills, a flash, and then our ADC decides to take some extra damage by just blowing his barrier as well for some reason. Doesn't look great. Not entirely sure why we're doing this, so it's just a lot of shenanigans that shouldn't have happened, did happen, whatever. Okay, so now let's talk about how the jungle operates. So at the start of the game, let's get a good visual representation here. At the start of the game, our Wukong went from blue to Gromp down to wolves. And then we saw the Pantheon take his raptors, so we can guess that he went from red to Krugs all the way down to raptors, right? So now, since buffs won't spawn on the second full clear, they will respawn on the third full clear. It should look something like Pantheon will reset after the sequence that happened bot lane. So whenever he comes back onto the map, he's going to have to hit his Krugs down to raptors, down to wolves. And then if we look over at our Wukong, he has to hit Gromp down to wolves, down to raptors, right? And then of course he would go down to Krugs and yada yada. So we can tell that things are very mirrored here, and it's going to be very good for the early game, so it's very predictable where their jungler is. Otherwise he's just going to have to give things up, right? And so now, knowing this, we will skip it forward just a little bit to 7 minutes. So we're looking at Aurora having no mana. She has to back. We have just enough for like a single rotation from our Orianna. Why the fuck? And so... So now, all we really need you to do is walk on this side of the lane, hit this tower here, and then drop a ward in Raptor Pit. That way you can multitask this part, because from where your Wukong is clearing, he's going from his Gromp down to wolves, right? We'll know that generally the Pantheon should be doing something really similar really soon. And it'll just give us knowledge of where he's currently at, right? So it would be very beneficial for our team. There's no point in holding us this ward to begin with. If you're not going to place that ward into the Raptor Pit while you've got the prio, while Aurora isn't here, you can drop it in your lane to see if she's going to shove waves and roam off later on, right? So just don't hold this ward. It has a lot of value. So let's make sure that we do avoid that. And then we're going to look at the jungler. He's going to clear his wolves. And then since things happened, he is pitter-pattering around, not really accomplishing anything. And as we see, our Orianna resets while he's moving down, and then Aurora moves off the map. And so like what needs to happen while there is downtime for our jungler waiting for his camps to respawn, he has a pink ward that he just is holding on to, which is here. If he just walks forward and drops this ward here, Aurora has only a few options, really. She doesn't want to go top because he's building MR right now, and it takes them a little too long for them to kill him. So really, it's much easier for them to make a flash play from the Nautilus onto our bot lane, and then they get to make a good catch kill, right? So she either wants to path down river, or she wants to path down and try to get a good flank angle. And if our Wukong walks over towards this bush and just drops a ward, he should be able to establish defensive vision for his quadrant, but also be able to catch vision on a roaming Aurora, right? But just sitting here looks very solo queue, and if we just take a quick look, she is looking to roam, and it's very unfortunate that we don't do anything about it. Otherwise, we could be preventing some stuff that happens a little later on, and yeah, it gets very depresso. And then I think it's actually right about now. Yeah, there was no real mid-Mia pings or even comments about it in VC from our mid laner calling out the Aurora MIA. And then so now with the bot lane, all you guys really need to do is you can't have Maokai walk up to Ward River. You just need to like start backing off since Sivir has flash and range to hit the minions. Just let her finish up those minions and then you guys back off so you're not in like threat of hook and getting caught out, and you can just walk, and then you both have flash to be able to make sure that you outplay this Aurora and just live, and you're not giving a free kill. That would be very nice if we didn't have to give that up. A little insane. And then we will go ahead and start looking at the next sequence here. We start hitting our red buff, we give it up because we assume that they're going to be taking the dragon, so we're looking to trade objectives. So now what we really need to do is have our Maokai open top side rather than the bot side, because if we look at her AD, she's very low resources, half HP, little to no mana. She can't really do anything but catch this last wave here, walk back, press B, making sure that she can't get dived on by the Nautilus, just walking at her, autoing and giving kill for kill, right? That doesn't look very fun. So Maokai doesn't want to just sit there and have nothing to do with his time, so you should be looking to move topside with your allotted time given. And then so roughly, if you were walking up topside, right around here, you could have Wukong be right around here, and then Maokai right around here. And then if Ornn just decides to fight the Mordekaiser trying to bait out his ult, Ornn's under no threat of death because he has flash. If Wukong also gets ulted, if you guys decide to Avengers the top laner, he has flash and ult, and then our support still has flash after the sequence that happened bot lane. So really, we should be able to walk out of here with no kills given over, and we should be able to take this kill. Our top laner gets the push onto the wave, so Maokai can help him establish that. Wukong can move down, take the Void Grubs, so we can trade neutral objectives, and then allow our Ornn to proc Crystalline Impact onto his top tower, while also being able to proc his Demolish onto that tower as well. So he should be able to get these two plates here and be able to make out like a bandit. And this sequence never happens. It's kind of insane, but we are at the early stages of a team, but we need to start working on this much quicker, establishing some type of plan for these Void Grubs, and just recognizing possibilities that we can do. And then so now we need to skip over roughly to about 8:45. So as we're taking this, we get a good hit in. And then as Orianna is laning, she drops a lazy ward here, which does nothing really. If you're wanting to ward, remember, ward your lane to watch for Aurora or ward a intersection. That way you can see how they're moving into a river, towards your lane, towards top. It's a really good angle for Pantheon to clear his Raptor Pit. And while he's just sitting there clearing, he can just press R onto your lane and he'll just be there very quickly, right? So that ward doesn't really do anything for us. It's just very odd that you are doing this. If we let this bit play out, we know that they're taking the dragon, and then you walk at the wrong side of your lane instead of just establishing some type of wall, and now you blow your flash, you blow your ult, and you look very goofy, right? Instead of just playing back until the dragon dies, and then you start seeing Nautilus back bot side or whatever, right? we just disrespect our enemies just a little bit, and it costs us a little bit, which is not the greatest use of our time. And then let's skip over to 1110 real fast. There's a sequence that happens bot side with Pantheon ulting into bot, and then we have Ornn attempting to do a hero play by just teleporting bot, where if we would have just let our Sivir die and then our Maokai having flash up, he can't really get killed here. So if he just flashes away, he lives. Instead what happens, we burn our teleport, we burn our flash on the top lane, we give 3 kills over, Mordekaiser gets free farm, also he gets time to actually just hit this, right? So this is very insane for how we play this. Also, while they're just killing bot, our jungle should just be looking to invade their red side a little quickly, and then just, if the call is to help the mid laner here, to shove in, if that's what they're requesting, then go ahead, push in the wave, and then just let your Orianna hit the tower, you jump over, take the Raptors, take the Krugs, and then look to try to respawn the top side since your top laner ends up dying here, and you can catch a wave, and then look to go and clear out your blue side jungle, is what I would recommend. And now we will skip over to 1230. We get onto a bit, they look very unsynchronized here. Sivir wants to help push in this wave a little bit. Maokai looks like they don't want to play the game at all, so they're playing really far back, so they just make a play onto the Sivir since Maokai is not in range to be able to be of any use to the Sivir, so they just make a free catch. Otherwise, if we were just standing there, you can take a hook or whatever and you can still flash out and you can't really be one shot. You have Locket, you don't even proc your Locket while Sivir is getting blown up. This looks like very beginner level support things that we are just letting happen. You guys could have also backed off and just stood where the Maokai was standing, and I think it would have been fine. You know, anything other than our AD actually dying. We're gonna skip over to... Is it actually 12:35? Oh, yeah, I already believe. Yeah, I talked about that. Just warding crossways. Rather than the actual lane bush. So we need to go to 14 minutes. About here. Alright. So let's look at how the team is playing this. We see 2 people. We see the jungle, we see the support, and so now the way that this game is currently playing out, I wish I could just like make the HP on the towers disappear real quick. Don't know if I can do that though. But Corki isn't showing, so we know that Sivir can push this wave in with QW. It's not really a big deal to her. And since we see 2 people here, we know that Maokai is not allowed to walk forward after clearing this board, and then he cannot establish vision here. This play can't happen, right? And so if we are the jungler, what he wants to do is he's only 1 camp off level 10. And so what his comms need to be like, hey, I am 1 camp off, so let me walk down and then just take my Krugs, and then we can look for dragon after. So instead of assigning the dragon sequence on this current wave, assign it onto the next wave, right? So allow your Orianna to push in this wave, let Sivir go ahead and push this wave in, and then on the next respawning wave, whenever this starts coming onto the map, then you'll let your laners reestablish prio, and then by then your jungler would be level 10, and you guys are physically as strong as possible, right? And then allow your support to walk in with your jungle with prio bot lane, and then you guys can start establishing vision that you absolutely need to, right? I think that would be the best way to do this. Unfortunately, we are very disorganized, and we don't do this either. Instead, Maokai gets caught, and then there's some extra fuck shit that happens here. Even though we have the prio from the bot lane, our Sivir ends up walking all the way across for some reason instead of just walking this way, getting the free hits onto the Corki here, and then you really can't die because you have both sums. So you can pop your barrier relatively early if Corki starts hitting you, and then you can either flash behind your team or you can flash over this wall, making sure that you are able to play a good, safe front to back, but you're establishing some type of damage early. Your Wukong and your support also have their ults, so you guys can actually do plenty of damage here. If you had pathed differently, there should be a double kill onto them. You might drop a kill from your team onto like Maokai or Wukong, one of the two, but I don't know. I think probably the Maokai dies here. The Wukong still has flash, and he should be able to get out here. Corki probably dies, or lives, but that should be fine. We should be able to get 2 kills here and be able to make a good play for this dragon, but that doesn't happen. Instead, we kind of troll it a little bit and continue to throw our game. None of that looks very happy. None of it looks very good. We will skip to 1630. Here, if we just look at it, all that really needs to be done is our mid laner is half HP, a third of their mana, so they just want to catch this bot wave. Their mid jungle is dead, so right now we really can't lose this sequence. Sivir has 3 Void Grubs. She just gets to free hit this tower, gets her plate gold, gets the next wave, and then she'll get the tower, and then she'll be able to be very happy with how this is panning out for her. So here, all you really need to do is drag your support over here to drop a ward, and then whenever they're done, just let them walk up, and then you guys will shove in this top tower, and then you just drag your Wukong up over here, allow Wukong to stand here, and then you guys just Avengers the Mordekaiser, hit the tower, preferably Mordekaiser ult somebody that isn't the Wukong once again, and then you go forward and you kill the Mordekaiser, you get the next wave, and then you can allow your team to play backwards from that point on. So you should be able to take the Mord kill, the top tower, the next wave, and then also the Rift Herald, because during this time, Orianna can shove mid-wave, press B, and then walk back into lane, and then be able to play for the Rift Herald on the next sequence, right? She doesn't really need to be a part of this whatsoever. And then after bot tower, Sivir could also just reset, walk mid, and or Orianna can walk bot after she resets. There's a few combinations that we could do here to optimize this little play. We do a team fight over here, Sivir walks over here, catches the wave, that's fine. Then we just back off after catching some kills and winning the fight, which we're happy for. But if we look at our top lane, he's got no HP, no mana. Let's not like kind of hoe him out. Somebody come up here, help this guy out, get the wave, get the tower, blow it up. You know, new season, towers are very flimsy, they don't really do a whole lot. So you can just blow them up, get this guy off the map, and then look to play elsewhere, right? It just seems a little silly that we just kind of leave him out there. 1930 is the next one. Good solo kill on that. Mordekaiser. Happy to see that. And then now we are looking to set up this dragon. So we see the Nautilus, we are clearing out vision, we are pushing bot, so it's hard for them to just walk in from bot side. And now we are hitting 2 wards here. Ideally, we need to make sure that we walk over and we hit the blast cone here. Reduce the risk of actually taking this objective. We have plenty of vision. We've got a line here, and then we've also having a line here, right? So we can see them coming in from just about every angle. But let's make sure that we're not going to be throwing anything by like Aurora, Corki, not just being able to like stand on the blast cone, hit it over, and then just fight us with a Pantheon ulting right into Dragon Pit, right? And then it just makes a very chaotic fight, very hard to play out, does not sound very fun for any carries involved. The others really won't mind because of their HP pulls. And then if we skip ahead to 2130, I just want to look at how Oriana plays the split. You see the Aurora, you hit this, which is fine. So right around here, whenever you hit this, you need to establish what your team is looking to do. So for what I would recommend is, since we have a pink and a blue, put your blue in this bush and put your pink in this bush, and then tell your team that you're going to play on this next wave and you're going to clear it to drag Aurora down, right? Aurora's going to have to respawn here, and then she does not have teleport, so if you successfully drag her down, you can tell your team to walk up, take this top scuttle, start contesting it, and then making sure that we keep this mid wave pushed in, and then we can still bait out this Baron. And with the Oriana teleport, she can teleport up, and Aurora would have to cross map, and they would be way too late for that play. But we don't. Instead, we just kind of, I don't know, go click around in their jungle and invade some camps, which is okay, but I don't think it's the greatest use of our time. And also it does not establish a vision for our Oriana, who's trying to split. They put their ball over here. They still have two wards that they're not making incredible use out of. They got the blue down, I guess. Aurora's there. We make a very good attempt onto the Aurora. She lives, whatever. We lose mid tower. Sag. Next, I want to look at 2440. Wherever that's at. Oh, here. Same thing. Fuck off. I see that my Ornn has a ward, so then just drop your ward in the middle of lane. That way we can see how people move across the map. T1 tower's gone, so they can't really sweep it until someone walks over with a sweeper, right? So let's make sure we get as much vision as we can. And that would be nice. And then we will look at 2550. Nice audio bugs. Thanks, replay. We see Corki, we see the Nautilus on the blue side, we see Aurora bot, we see the Mordekaiser top lane, and so now we see the Corki. So what needs to happen here is we also see the Aurora trying to hit this bot tower, wanting to finally get another T1 onto their list. Still, she did not bring teleport this game. Her lane quest does not give it to her for free, so she would have to cross map over here. So what really needs to happen is we need Ornn to stand like around here to be able to prevent the Mordekaiser from playing the game. And then we need a sapling here from the Maokai, and then we just need like Oriana and Maokai to stand here. And so that way on the next wave, since it's really dangerous for the opposing team to walk in through the jungle, since you guys could just death brush them, what they want to do is they want to go ahead and push the next wave in and then attempt to walk through river, right? And then if we have Sivir standing right along here, then you guys can make a really good catch play onto whoever shows up for this, for them pushing in mid, right? And so if we let this play out, we see Corki's catching mid. We are doing good setup. We set up the sapling. We've got the Oriana, but now we're lacking the Maokai. He is walking over here, auto-attacking Baron for some reason. Like, your fucking damage matters, bro. Nice. Instead, there's a world where if you're here with your Oriana, then Oriana can put her ball on top of you, and then Maokai can rip his ult, and then try to make 2 catches, and then you can just look to make a flash play onto Corki, and then let Oriana full combo. The amount of damage that you guys can do should be able to one-shot this Corki. Oriana being 2 levels up and having Shadow Flame Ludens and 10 stacks on her Dark Seal. Looks like she can do basically all of his HP pool, and then after that, if he flashes out and lives, then we just make sure we make a good catch onto the Nautilus, and they just lose 1. Aurora still can't be here, and so if we make sure we kill 1 or 2, then it greatly increases our chances of just winning the game. It's a little insane that we don't. And then if Sivir is right around here, it puts her in between her entire team, where she can still free hit the Baron, but also she can look to press R and allow the Orianna Maokai to have increased move speed, and then we can also pull the Ornn and the Wukong off the Baron and just make a mid play if more people show up there, you know? So I do think that would be the better play here. What is this, 26? And then I want to look at 27-15. We see Orianna walking down. We see a few people mid. Our team is slowly trying to cross from our red side jungle up to this Baron. And then we see the Pantheon here. And then we get caught. Our team tries to save us. And then unfortunately, there is a way to avoid this entire thing, right? In a perfect world where you use your brain, if you hit the sweeper here and you just smack it, you will see so much here, right? And if I lift the veil, we can see who you would see, right? You would hit it, you would see the Panth, we would get vision, and then you can go ahead and start clearing vision, and you would be under no real threat. It would be lovely. Unfortunately, since we're lazy lead players, you get caught, you die, our team blows ults trying to save you, and then 4 of us die, and we blow a lot of suns as well. So it's not a very good sequence from our team whatsoever. The last little bit I want to go over is 29-30. Here we made some really good damage onto their top lane. We ripped the Maokai ult. We're not ripping the Sivir ult for some reason, where we should be able to catch 2 onto the Maokai, the Mordekaiser I mean, and the Nautilus, and if we catch 2, then we just have like Wukong, Sivir, and like Orianna free hit the Baron, and then we can just have like Ornn and Maokai just making sure that Pantheon just can't walk into this Baron, right? We should be able to pick up 2 kills here, take the Baron, and then just nobody really reset aside from the Orianna. You guys just group mid as 4, push in down mid, proc your Crystalline Impact onto that mid tower. You have Empowered Wave, and then with Orianna having teleport, she can go ahead and press B and then teleport in with the team and then push as 5 and then just look to end the game. Instead, none of this happens. We're too afraid to pull the trigger, and we just extend the game by like another 7 minutes or whatever. Also, we have prior knowledge that Aurora is once again bot, so they are not a full 5 here. So it's a little crazy that we allowed this to happen. We are at the early stages of the team, so hopefully we get people a little more comfortable trusting each other or just using their eyes or whatever, a little more effective comms, effective vision, and then we can start having smoother plays, and then that will give us more success as a team. You guys did great in this series compared to your first series, so yes, I do have the opinion that you guys earned your scrims back. All right, fuck y'all.